We will be back in some form.
We have an army of digital soldiers because this was an insurgency.
Hundreds
folks.
dead, thousands infected across multiple continents.
You guys know what this represents?
People that have gone out there against the mainstream media and said, you're going to call us racist, you're going to call us potential Timothy McVeighs. You are.
What up? Welcome to the Patriot Party News. Happy to have everyone. I would really be appreciative if you could share this out. That's how we get it rocking and rolling organically. And we'd love it if you always think about joining us at join.patriotshoot.com. This is where we hang out and get the best information we can, get prepared to get people into groups to further their knowledge on whatever subject they want to get in. We don't have them all, but we are working diligently on this stuff. While you're looking through here, anti-aging bed has done so much for me as far as grounding, as far as frequency, vibration, energy, things like that. Totally helped my back. Now we deal with John a lot. LT360 is another one that we big things are happening there. Coach Scott has really got it together, and I'll be having Coach on in the near future to get a lot of that information out. One more thing, everybody knows we need to have some gold and silver. Well, you can have some if you want some. I guess you can do anything you want to, but know that some big changes are coming. And whether it's just holding on to your necklaces that you've had forever, or rings and things, there's going to be a need. We know that what kills the Fed? Maybe gold. There's going to be some big things changing. Please know that you've got some inside information, and it's certainly worth looking at. One thing that I've been looking at is all these protests in Minneapolis, and we think they're going to continue on. Where are they going to start in a whole lot of different cities? Is it going to be a free-for-all, or have we managed to push them back into about 14 to 17 states? Actually cities, and maybe down to certain counties. Maybe so. Just know that that's coming. It's something we've talked about forever. When we've talked about, hey, be a little prepared, this is what we've been talking about. This, along with the financial change. And we were talking about it just a little bit ago. What is going to have to happen to bring us closer to the Lord, closer to each other, and back to as close as we could get to previous times in our life where a lot of people didn't know the world was as crazy as it is? Well, last time it took 9/11. And some people think that it will take something way crazier than that. Is that what you think? I don't know. Is that what you're guessing? I don't know. Is it what you might have in the back of your mind and put on that little shelf over here and entertain that at least? Yeah, I think so. But of course, you're free to do whatever you want. It's not going to be for everyone. You'll be able to see the people that it's not for. They will not have their guiding light on. They will not have be ascending to being more Christ-like. I think you'll just be able to tell it because there's going to be a big change. We can see a big change and what it's going to look like probably watching Minneapolis. First off, it doesn't have anything to do with any grassroots organic protests. So for anyone out there that's new, that is wondering, man, this looks like that the way that the George Floyd stuff started. You're right on. And that's what we have to compare this to. Because the ones that we're fighting have this conspiracy going on, not just a little conspiracy to cause some problems. It's seditious, it's satanic, and it is to continue anything they can do to overthrow our sitting president, just like last time, just like all the lies from all the puppets of the oligarchs of the British Empire. And don't mistake that. That's who we're fighting. You know, they went in and they took over China, 1929, 1949. You know, that now China's like it is. They've taken over all these other countries and we're watching it. Well, at the same time, we're watching Trump and our government and a lot of good people behind the scenes and a lot of good people in the military changing history right now. So they need civil war. We don't want them to have civil war. We want it to go only into civil unrest. And I don't know that there's any way to stop that. But as far as it being some kind of so-called organic thing that's going on, that's just not true. This is all coming from networks of compromised NGOs. And these NGOs are ones that receive government funding to advance their cause, because their cause is the same cause that the puppets we call a lot of our Congress, our senators, the House, anybody up there, presidents are just puppets of groups like the SES and SIGI. And they are puppets of London and the banksters and all that stuff. And they are puppets of the ones higher up in London. And it goes on and on until you reach up there to the Persian families and things like that. And that's where it ultimately comes from. And they don't want the recognition. They just want the power. So they will do anything to advance their cause. And pretty much anyone that says any different, I have to say, man, you're a little bit ignorant watching all this. But is that forgivable? I don't know. Dadgum. It's hard to understand why people can't see what's going on. But then again, you have to understand that we are dealing with spooks. We are dealing with 007s, maybe people like 107s. I don't know. Anyone that thinks they can just open up and without a lot of studying, you know, unless you're in the military and already have that background, it's hard. But a lot of these people that we're fighting, they fight for the USAID linked corporations and good thing. They try to have the good humanitarian services, you know. They're not the humanitarians. Humanitarians have been going on for a long time. And in my opinion, they are certain families that have been doing this for a very long time. And for a time such as now. So as you see what happened in Venezuela with Maduro just being plucked out of there and nothing happened. And all of a sudden, Cuba's going down. Iran's a mess. China's, what are they doing about oil? It's a mess. Well, that's how hard we're fighting them. That's how we've got them. That's how we have. This is a bunch of architects up there that are making this happen. They're trying to destabilize us, and we're trying to just live life and keep things stable and normal. But it's coordinated. We have used the same tactics that they are using on us. You know, our government, our military, our spooks, let's say that, you know, contractors, things like that, on all kinds of other countries, like all the wars that you use. That's what they do. They go in and destabilize, get this group mad at this group, Christians mad at, or let's say Baptists mad at Church of Christ, and this one mad at Pentecostal, and black mad at white, and men mad at women. Now they're using transgender, so parents will just be totally defeated. Why is my child that's a cute little girl wanting to be a dude, or vice versa? Anything they can do to mess up your day is how far they're willing to go, in my opinion. Now, media is not going to cover that. They're just going to continue to tell you how bad ICE is and how they're going to do everything they can to create some kind of diversion to get you away from it. Like they're going to say crazy things about Epstein Island. Well, that's all they're talking about on mainstream media. So I don't have to talk about it because it's a distraction. Now, is it going to mean a lot? Yes, it's going to mean a lot because people are compromised because of that place. You can see with Lord Mendelsohn going down. Now, he's a lot bigger factor than what a lot of people think, with Prince Andrew going down, which leads them to all of the royal family. These are all things that we know. We've been talking about this through Q and through our own studies of what we think is going to happen. And it's orchestrated. There's no way it's not orchestrated. So if you look and you say, well, how does that guy know that? How does that guy know that? It's because he's either reading the narrative, he or she reading the narrative, or they've got inside information, or from somebody that's higher up than them that knows what's going on and is getting fed good information, or it's from places like Q that has come through like crazy. So anybody out there that's new to this or just to say, man, Q's freaking crazy. Okay, whatever. You get to think that because you are your own person and you can think anything you want to. But I'll tell you what, that stuff's on like neck bones. It's pretty. It's kind of like a blueprint for what's fixing to happen. Just like these people that we are fighting have a kind of like a blueprint on how to destabilize our country, the United States, and 72 others. And they do it over and over and over all day, every day. And that's what the media is doing to you. So hopefully, whoever you listen to doesn't just repeat what the media says. Find someone that, I don't know, is telling you the truth. That's hard to do. Minneapolis is definitely a color revolution. That's how it's being used, and that's all there is to. Now, another thing that's going on that a lot of people are wondering about is the cartels. Now, oh my goodness, what's going on? Is that all crazy? Look, we've been the military. United States military has been over there for a good bit, but let's say a year. Now you take someone like Edward Torres that's on with me on Friday nights, and he'll tell you they've been in there since 2004 or something. I don't know what he said, but yeah, I believe that. But as for right now, with this going on, we've really been in there about 30 miles, into Mexico, across the border, setting all this stuff up. And we've been in there a good bit. So people are wondering today on Talk Time, a few people said that, I've got friends over there in Puerto Vallarta. And they had to teach me how to say that. I had a hard time saying that. This bordered in Talk Time. But, it's been framed as one cartel taking over another cartel. So like taking over a street corner, to sell drugs. This is my street corner. No, this is my street corner. Well, of course, it's a lot bigger than that. But what it amounts to is the United States has done pretty much what they did with Maduro. This is going to go on for a little bit. Now, right now, as far as Puerto Vallarta, whatever it is, that place, they're talking about, hey, there's going to be a time here pretty soon where the people that have been there that didn't have prior warning that all this was going to go on should be able to get out. I believe while we were talking about that, somebody came on and said, hey, this is what's going on. This is how they're going to get out. And that maybe even the president was was talking about it. Now, I don't know. I believe that's what was said, but we were talking about a lot of stuff in there today. So right now, people should probably just be waiting a little bit, because we're going to see how big this is going to get. And there's a possibility of it getting really big. We'll know within the next 24 to 36, maybe a little more hours. We will probably know, wow, is this going to chill out? Because remember that over the last, since the late 70s, early 80s, every president that has been elected in Mexico has been the leader of a cartel. So that means their generals have been the generals that you have in the military were also the generals of that cartel, and so on and so on. And then there are people going to the military. Hasn't been a big difference between the military and maybe the military, but it's compromised, put it that way. But what's happened is that the military is getting some help, whether it's just teaching or actually in there with drones or whatever. The United States government is in there working with them. Now, that's going to allow them to take out some bad actors, depending on how big this goes. I guess they can capitulate and say, hey, I'm done, whatever. But I don't think that's how it's going to go. I think that there's no turning back. And I might be wrong, but I just watch it. And when that happens, we've always said that's the time that, hey, watch out over here, especially in blue states, blue cities. That's when some really wild things could happen as far as terrorism, as far as attacks of some kind. What I will say about that is that there are a lot of people saying that we have diminished their infrastructure and how much ability they have to fight. Is that true? You hear things and you hear it from the right people, and you talk about it. I myself, I'm not taking anybody's word for it on something like that. That's a life and death scenario. So I say, stay on alert and have what you need, be able to protect yourself. So I think that's where everybody ought to stay. And of course, you get to do what you want to. I'm not the leader of your house. So it is what it is. With all this, those people, now again, that guy that was taken out, and I forget his name, the cartel guy, I'm hearing that he was one of the number one traffickers for Epstein. And a lot of things are going to go back to Epstein. A lot of it. He had a lot going on. And I would say everyone should be conscious of the fact that, I want these people that have done bad things to children or women or freaking whoever, but especially women and children. I want them to go down. I want to see them go down for that. But just remember, that might not be what they go down for. This is a grand conspiracy. It's not going to be on your timeline. It's not going to be when you want it to happen. It's going to be when it's time. And this is event driven. So there's no reason to say, when's it going to happen? It's going to happen. Now, if somebody doesn't have any faith in it or what's going on, then maybe I guess they can say anything they want to. Everybody's got their own opinion, and I'm for that. But just know that it's all set up. We've got everything. And wasn't it nice? I don't know if anybody, the other day, Patrick Byrne was on the show. And I'm sorry, I'm switching gears here a second. But Patrick Burns said, he has everything. We know that group, Patrick, Martine, Gary, Ralph, and now you got Peter Santilli. They've all come in and told us what they've got and what they have turned into the powers that be, the ones that need that information to make arrests and get everything together. Peter Santilli said he dumped all his in Florida, where Pam Bondi is. I know everybody's been saying, Pam ain't doing nothing, but there's a lot to do. So we'll see how that all works out. Like I said, everybody gets to have their own opinion, and it is what it is. But Patrick said, we've got it all. He paid for it. but he has nothing compared to what Trump has. And that's new. He might have said it once, said something like that once behind the scenes, but if it was, it hasn't been that long ago, in my opinion. But all of a sudden he came out and said, wow, he did have it all. And all that does is better my thought pattern that there is a wonderful operation going on. Well, I mean, an operation that beats all operations. You know, later on down the road, we will understand about the algorithms of how all this stuff works and how choices are made of what to do first, and how what event driven means, and how AI has assisted us in certain things. You know, when you talk about AI, you go back to holographic technologies. You go back to everything AI can do. And a long time ago, we were introduced to that, and they were talking about Kodak and GM and General Electric and Polaris and Toyota. And everybody's like, man, that's going to be medbed technology. Well, I don't know. Think about that. That nobody's seen the med beds. Nobody has been in one that we know of. Do I think they're out there? Yeah, I believe that all kinds of Star Trek and Star Wars things are going to go on. But right now, if I were you, I would consider using what we have, learning about frequency, vibration, grounding. I mean, when you know that there's a formula for how to fix something, especially if it's your body, and you don't do it, then that's on you. Now, the med beds that we talk about that are way out in the wild blue yonder over there that nobody's been in, nobody's seen, I believe in. I totally believe in that kind of stuff. But I can only go with what I can see, what I can touch, what I can feel, how I can do it. Now, those ones that are out there, they're supposed to do something in 15 minutes. So we're talking about rejuvenating arms and stuff, you know, but whatever, you know, great. Let's do that. Now, the ones that you have now, depending on what your situation is, it might cure you in 45 minutes, or it might take 2 days, or it might take 5 days. It depends on the person. It depends on what's going on with the technology we have available. Now, if you go to some older technology that was a year ago, it might take a little longer. If you go to some technology that was before that, it might take a little longer. So if you go out and you put your bare feet on the ground and you touch a very large tree, and you do that every day, twice a day, maybe 3 times, however many times it freaking takes, I hear that you will see a big difference in how you feel, in the voltage that you have in your body. Being up, you know, you charge your phone, you got to charge your body. Because, I mean, it's all about frequency. And how do you gain that? You gain that from the earth. The Lord has put things in your yard and given you food that crazy companies have changed like crazy. And we're like, oh man, we can't do that. Well, instead of being mad about that, take your energy and use that to put you a lounge chair outside or whatever, and let your skin touch the earth and touch a big tree, or don't touch a big tree. I don't know. Now, if your budget says you can have a grounding mat to lay on, or a bed cover, or what, then do that. Okay, it's going to take a little longer, but you're going to feel a difference. So think about those things and do it if you want to. And if you don't. But it's there for you. And I don't know why, if you know the formula of something that really, 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 really could help you and fix you, why you wouldn't do that. I don't understand that, but it is what it is. Just think about it. I would love to see, especially people that say, hey, I don't have the money to go here or do this, or I'm older and I can't get around or whatever. Well, I don't know. Maybe that would help. And if you do it and you feel better, then you can tell somebody about it and maybe they'll do it. Because what we're doing here, the formula to this whole thing is to duplicate ourselves. Everyone, I believe, should end up being the leader of their community, of their area, of maybe just two people, maybe the two people in their household, maybe their household and the ones next door, maybe your whole community. I don't know what this turns into. But hopefully, since we have supposedly woken up, which there's a whole lot of people that say they're awake that I cannot wait until they freaking wake up. That's just me. I can't wait till I wake up fully because there's so many things I don't know. You know, people always talk about, what do you think you are? 1D, 5D, 7D, your mama? I don't know. I don't really care. I am trying to progress. I'm trying to act right. I'm trying to do something right and duplicate. I can only duplicate if I get out there and work and do what I'm supposed to do. So that's what I'm going to do. Do the best I can. And I'm sure somebody's doing a better job. But this is all about grassroots information, getting it to people and working with them until they understand it, if they want you to. Now, when I wake up in the morning, I know that my goal is to be exposed to something new that I want to understand. I want to understand things. So with what's going on right now, the phase we're in and that we've been in, it's exposure. It's exposure to all the information. It's exposure to freaking crazy satanic pedophiles. It's disclosure to all this crap. And I don't want to tell anybody that stuff if that's going on, but that's what it's all about. That's what apparently the Lord has decided my job's going to be for however freaking long. And I'm just going to do that. Along the way, I'm meeting some great people, trying to help as many as I can. Pretty soon, I hope they help others and they teach me. And I get to watch people that I'm trying to help me. That's what's cool about it. Because we're a whole lot better, in my opinion, together, making a team, learning together, supporting each other, telling each other, hey, you did good. Or telling each other, hey, I'm sorry you're having this problem. Or, hey, man, go take some freaking get you some castor oil and fix that thing. Or what to take when you're sick. You know, some people, when they start getting sick, they can help everybody else, but they can't freaking remember to do it for them. That's me. I sit around like, Doug, what's wrong with me? You know? And I say, oh, maybe I'm supposed to, get my immune system back up. And how do you do that? Exposure is a trip. And we're seeing it all happen right in front of our eyes. And there are good things happening. I mean, great. China's not necessarily our big military threat anymore. It's like it's become more a strategic threat. Now, a lot of people are not going to understand that, not going to see that. That's okay. A lot of people don't understand what ARC is. The America, Russia, China sharing intelligence. A lot of people has been in this for a long time. A lot of people has been in this for a long time know that what I mean when I say 7 kingdoms. And how is that going to work? Is that really going to work out? Maybe so. But maybe so. Keep on watching because it sure looks like it. Where do we get that stuff from? Q and places like that. There's Q again. There's Mary said, thank you, Lanny, for reposting this stream. Thank y'all for reposting this. I appreciate it. That really helps us. We know that a scare event's coming, more cyber attacks, and maybe at some point, maybe the lights will get turned off. I don't know. Maybe it'd be good to know how to work on that. It's almost like we've gotten some practice with the crazy weather in some places. So think about all that. Have your propane ready if you can. Have your little heaters ready. We're learning. So keep on doing that. Keep on keeping on. You can't ever say, "Oh, I'm just done with this stuff," because I don't know how anybody would unlearn what the heck we've learned. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. I don't know. Does that make any sense to anybody? Well, I'm just not dealing with that anymore. Well, okay, bye. I don't know what else to say. Be thinking about AI and what it's going to be. Do we need to know it like crazy? How much do we need to study it? Is this going to be used just for helping us with algorithms and making easier lists to go shopping, or is this something that everybody needs to go, or are only people in big time technical services going to use this? I mean, I think there's a place for everything, and we'll see. But I know that everything can be used for bad and everything can probably be used for good. So just keep your eyes open. I know when AI, like, when somebody Googles something or uses their search engine to look for whatever, and then on your social media it comes up later. Well, I started seeing that real early, before a lot of people, well, maybe not, felt like I was early. And somebody said, "Hey man, I just got this new program and they can, I got a guy that for like this amount of money can give you this stuff that if somebody Googles something over here and they're in your area, boom, they're going to send your number and your information to them, and then they're going to send their information to you." And I said, "Heck no, I ain't messing with that stuff." Looking back on it, it probably would have been smart to do it, but I was like, it just hit me wrong. I was like, I'm not doing that crap. All I was thinking about, mark of the beast, mark of the beast, mark of the beast. So I said no, and I could have got it for cheap. It just wasn't. I don't know. I think I was kind of thinking, would my dad do that? I don't know. I don't think he would have. He said, "That's crazy. That couldn't happen." That's what he'd say. Good things are happening all over the place that people don't know about. The banks, the central banks, they're in trouble. They're in major trouble. The Basel III stuff, it's kicking in. And there is a war right now. Donald Trump is pretty much taking out the central banks. You say the Fed is going to be taken out by gold eventually. Maybe that's what it is. But it's a new financial system is pretty much what's going on, because it's kind of like we talked about earlier, this Lord, by the way, Peter Mendelsohn, and his role as a high-level operative for global bankers, especially during the 2008 financial crisis. Him going down, they call him Lord Peter Mandelson, I think. That's a big dog. That is a big dog. They said he was acting as the I think they call him the deputy prime minister, and he's the one that leaked sensitive UK government information on bailouts and asset sales to Epstein, who was the fixer. And that was for the financial elites like Jamie Dimon at JP Morgan and all these people. Well, that has kept on going. A lot of people look at that. This Mandelson guy got taken out. Well, why don't I see a bigger arrest? That's a big freaking deal. That's huge. That is literally a geopolitical shift, because that guy has got everything on everybody. In fact, he might not make it too much longer. If he's in trouble, I would say he's seen better days. He's in trouble probably. But what we're trying to do with all this, we're taking these people out, because what does Trump want? He wants free money, free elections, fair elections. Taking care of the diamonds, the children, and anybody that's gone after him and his family I believe 2016, 2020 elections, and then the rest of them, those are the first big dogs that he's taken out. Well, we see that happening. We see that happening with Fulton and Maricopa and Wayne and all those places. And we're going to see about 10 of them all together, maybe a few more. So be ready for that. But really what this is literally the taking down of the British imperial masterminds, oligarchs that run the city of London and make your life freaking miserable by keeping you broke and controlling the entire financial system. And they've had these proxy wars going on all the time where World War II ain't even over yet because we're still fighting that British Empire, and it's freaking crazy. So the current political and economic landscape is just a freaking total conflict between two systems. The old world order with the petrodollar and all that stuff, and we're going to a new system. Now, a lot of people are like, hey, when do I RV? When do I RV? Look, we RV when it's time. And I know I disagree with most on this stuff. I don't think it's time. I don't think it's time because I haven't seen, and I don't have proof and everything of the IRS totally going down, of the Fed totally going down, and me being able to see that system in front of me on my computer that I can use. And we haven't had classes on it. And it's just, I mean, that's where I'm at. And that's where I've been at for about however long, 10 years, whatever it is. And that's where I'm going to stay. But I tell you, I'm with the first one to say it when I can see the system and people know the system and people understand the system. Besides that, I'm going to keep saving and keep learning and keep doing what I'm doing, trying to tell people about these crazy globalists who are attacking every way of life, everybody's way of life. With coordinated moves to create a problem, get people worried and scared about a problem, let them freaking dote over it and freaking get mad and cry about it and everything, and they probably should, and then offer a solution that changes all that, makes everything better, is what they say, and then we give up some freedoms, and then stuff don't get any better. But now they got taking a little bit more of your freedom away. That is the British imperial influence over the United States. That is it in a nutshell. I mean, it's freaking nuts. And their ancestors did it. Their ancestors did it, and it's crazy. Now, earlier on my show, we were talking about Australia, and I thought it was cool that Chief Sean Taylor said, you know, hey, watch Australia. Australia is something's fixing to go down in Australia. And I was like, hey, that's what I told Talk Time today. That's exactly, you know, I was in there for probably 3 hours, you know, just talking. I couldn't shut up because I'm so excited. There's really big things happening. But I saw a little information, kind of wrote it down, and it was talking about, let's see here, the legacy of the Trans-Pacific Partnership that was negotiated by Michael Froman and the deal with Australia recasts an assault on London's historical grip. And it was talking about how U.S. and Australia at some point would have a rare earth mineral deal coming up. And that supply chain would be a hedge against China because all these countries are trying to find out who they're going to trade with, stockpile their natural resources, because right now China makes everything. So what this global freaking entity did, the British Empire, they started changing up things to get their people in here in charge of the manufacturing and then send it abroad. Send it, get out of here. We don't want to make nothing. Well, that doesn't work unless you've got something like tariffs. So we start talking about, hey, let's bring it back. You know, and Marco Rubio, he went in and said, hey, all that was on purpose the other day at that conference or whatever the heck it was. I forget what it was called. But he went in there and said, y'all have been destabilizing and doing all of this crazy stuff, messing everything up on purpose. And he was telling the actual people that are the ones doing it. So the group we have has stood up and done everything they're supposed to. So we're not maybe seeing all the arrests that we see, but there is such big things going on. And the thing is, whoever said that the arrest would be this time and this time and this time? I don't know that Trump ever said it. Maybe Q said the first arrest will trip everybody out, you know. But I don't remember Trump saying this is going to happen on this day. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. So what it is podcasters and social media and whatever have told us, oh, this is going to go down now. This is going to go down now. This is going to go down now. I complain to them, not Trump. That Bernie, he's in there working his tail end off. Thank you, Lord, for the people that are out there working on it. I appreciate it. Give me a job. I'm ready to go rock and roll. That's just where I am. Maybe everybody's not like that, and that's fine. But to me, I'm just so thankful that the Lord has given us the people that are out there. I mean, whooping it. I mean, working as hard as they can, not sleeping, can't sleep because it's so freaking crazy, trying to get the world back in order so that we can peacefully live in it. And a lot of people that are crying about it are probably sitting on the couch half the day, maybe the whole freaking day. I don't know. Maybe they have to. If they have to, then that doesn't pertain to them. Because a lot of people could pick up the phone and call their representatives and everything, and it might not do anything, but it might. Think about that one call that did something. Hey, that's cool. It would be worth calling 500 times to get that one call that somebody said, okay, I'll take that in consideration, you know. I don't know, maybe somebody can do something. That's why I appreciate so many people that get to know their sheriffs and get out there and get to know their community, and the things we've heard, like people saying, hey man, just because you think that sheriff is, you know, compromised, don't take everybody's word on it. They might be on the other team, you know. Maybe they've made that persona on purpose. Maybe they think that he thinks he's compromised. I would say show them some support. And if they suck, then they suck. Make that decision for yourself, though, I think. There's a lot of good people out there. Now, one thing that we keep hearing is, and I keep saying it, I'm going to say it again, ARC. That is the U.S., Russia, and China. Are they... What's happening is the globalists are trying to pit them against each other, us against each other. The superpowers, the three superpowers of the world, they want us to be fighting, of course. They want men and women to be fighting. They want black and white to be fighting. They want this religion and this religion to be fighting. They want everybody mad at each other. All right, Hunger Games. Put everybody in there and let them fight, kill each other. Who's going to kill each other first? Well, the smart thing would be to build a coalition of groups or countries that want to be sovereign nations that bypass the traditional, what's it called? Atlantic Alliance? I don't know. Why does NATO got to control everything? Why does the EU? The EU is freaking done. And they don't have any, I'd say their relationship with us is freaking ruined, dismantled, because our financial position is their lifeblood. If the United States goes down, then everybody goes down. Nobody wants us to go down except for these crazy freaking London freaks, you know. The old empire needs our money because it's their life. They're poison. They're parasites that freaking suck. So we shouldn't ought to let them, you know, win this thing. So maybe we ought to be positive and get up on the right side of the bed and let the people that are fighting it fight this thing. Because not only all this, but they got this surveillance system that's watching every move we make. We know all that stuff. So maybe we put a little sticker on our phone so they can't see us. I don't know. They can still hear you probably. I'm not even dealing with all that. You know, they can if they've seen us already, just go ahead and watch. I'm not worried about all that crap. The Lord has decided how long I'm going to be here already. So I'll just let him decide. I ain't worried about it. If I can't got any control over it, I'm not necessarily going to worry about it. If I can't change it, I ain't dealing with it. I definitely ain't letting them see me sweat. I ain't doing it. I ain't got time for it. So the other day, when Marco Rubio went over there and he said the deindustrialization of the United States and Europe over the past 50 years was a deliberate policy, not an accident or something that just happened to our markets. It didn't just automatically freaking appear and all this happened. And he told the people right to their face, that was freaking great. He told them right to their face that you suck, you did this. There's a couple of Democrats there. And I think that's the most amazing thing. You know, I love it. You know, when you see somebody, just tell somebody how the freaking cow ate the cabbage. Just tell them exactly what was going on. And it was true. Because it was all about architects, censorship, a managed decline of everything, steering elections, outcomes instead of letting the people vote for who they want to and then them winning, you know. Well, our Secretary of State, Rubio, he went in there and told them that they ain't doing it no more. And all of a sudden, this Mandelson dude goes down. That was a stab to the heart. Now, he said, let's see, the confrontation on deindustrialization and mass migration, followed by rapid bilateral engagements with Slovakia, and Hungary for nuclear projects. And under Secretary announcement to bankroll organizations that will resist the EU's Digital Services Act. So while we are changing the whole financial system, they're trying to do the same thing too. Because what do they want to do? They want to bail out the central banks. Trump is taking out the central banks. It's as simple as that. They want to keep the old world order going. And we don't want no old world order. We don't want their new world order. We want the Great Awakening. And that's what we're doing. There was a lot of talk about the trilateral commissions controlling I guess it was called the disintegration of everything we own. Pretty much how that they were bankrolling through fraud all of these banks, because they're not going to be able to just keep all the silver and gold and short it and all that stuff anymore. That with Basel III, they're going to have to say, all right, I've got this money. You put this money in here. I've got this much of it, because that's just the way it's got to be. Well, they can't do that. There's no way on earth they can ever even think about doing that. It just can't happen. It's a done deal. It's it. Game over. So really, in my opinion, all we're needing to do is let this thing play out, be ready when the time comes. Probably fixing to be some crazy stuff go on with the banks. There's the new systems coming up. I had one member today, one friend of mine today, who was talking about this weekend they were driving around because their bank had said, we got changes going on. Well, what is that change? Well, we call it the QFS, Quantum Financial System. Are they going to call it that? No, probably not. Probably not. Just like we call these big countries helping small countries, everybody becoming sovereign nations, we call that Nasara Gasara. You call it whatever you want to. It's just every time there had to be a word for it. Whoever made that word up, whoever started that word is pretty smart. But we had to have a word, or we'd have to go, well, no taxes, no this, no that, free will, no maritime law and all that stuff. We'd have to say it every time. Instead, when we talk to each other, we say Nasara Gasara. Say, oh yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. So when it's not called that, don't worry about it. It's okay. When somebody goes down and is arrested for not what you want them to be arrested for, it's okay. Just know that things are happening. When people say things that are the same things that mainstream media is saying, don't worry about it. You know what you know. Trust yourself. Get up on the right side of the bed. Rock and roll. Live your life. Take care of your body. Be good to folks. If somebody don't like it, just tell them to shut up or fire them. That's what I'm going to do. Earlier, we was talking on Talk Time. We was talking about Chaz used to love it when I fired people on Facebook. I get about 6-7 years ago, and I get in there and just get aggravated. People over there questioning me like I knew, I actually did know what I was talking about, but they didn't know that, and it wasn't time for it. And I was early and all this crap, but still I should have done. But it felt so good to say, hey, shut up, you're fired. And it'd be somebody I went to school with my whole life, know them, went to church with them, just I'm chasing them around other Facebooks and stuff. Like, I don't care. It was fun. And I started doing it again. I warned everybody today, hey, I'm going to start doing that again because I hadn't fired people enough. And I need some good firings to go on in my life right now. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, all the things you've been seeing are on purpose. It's to hurt you. It's to make you scared. It's to put you in a bad mood. It's to draw you away from your friends and family. It's to cause problems. So the way you win, the formula to that is to wake up in the morning and don't let them make you mad. Don't let things freaking kill you. Don't let things bother you. Just go with the flow. I know, man. You get up and this day freaking sucks. I have them. I have those days. But don't let them see you sweat, Don't try not to be emotional. Help you if you're not emotional about this stuff. But you've got to get into the right frame of mind, and it will help you. Now, maybe you don't, but I'm just saying to the ones it pertains to, whatever, everybody gets to do what they want to. I'm not the master of this freaking operation, but I'm telling you what helps me. I get up in the morning, I've decided I'm going to be happy. I don't want to be around somebody that's not happy. If somebody makes me mad all the time, I'm not going to be around them. Don't talk to me. Don't be in my life. Just shut up. Unless I can help them somehow. I mean, even if they do make me mad down the road or tomorrow, if I can help them, I'm going to help them, but I might not want to be around them. And that's my prerogative. Don't let them mess up your day. You'll go through all this a lot easier. I got to go or I'm going to get in trouble. It's 8:58. Hey, thank you for joining. I hope that things I said maybe helped a little bit, because this is a pretty hard process. You know, this is not the easiest thing. Anybody's confused and tripping or whatever. Sometimes, hey, you're not the only one. You ain't nowhere near the only one, and that's okay. It's going to be okay. And in fact, I would never say this if I didn't mean it and know it. But in my opinion, we have won. We've won this thing, but we've got to watch it play out, and we've got to get involved. This is exposure of what's going on wrong. And if we don't get in there and make decisions, then somebody else that probably worships Satan is going to make decisions for us and our children. And maybe I shouldn't have said we won, but I mean that. But maybe that would make somebody not go out and do something. But to me, I would be getting to go out and do something. So I don't know. That's just me. Don't give me a chance to go to work, because I'll go to freaking work. Anyways, have a good evening. Good things are happening. Don't let somebody sway you that it's not. If you want to be upset about things not happening as fast as you want to, then be upset. That's fine. If you want to be mad about something, that's fine. But when you do it, think about those babies. Can I help those children? Can I help anybody? Will it help me help somebody else if I'm mad about stuff all the time? Or if I'm complaining about stuff all the time? Or if I tell everybody my butt hurts all the time? Can I be the good person that I need to be? Or should I say, I'm going to make a conscious effort to be happy and to rock and roll and whatever. Now, I'm not saying be freaking giddy and silly all the time. I mean, I can have some bad days. Just stay up. Don't let anybody get you down. Hey, come join us at join.patriotshoot.com. We appreciate it. Take a look at the guys we promote and we talk about. We're always trying to get money for people, other people. We need it too. So any donations or anything for that server space would be greatly appreciated. Have a good evening. Stay out of trouble. By the way, if you've been trying to get on Talk Time and you hadn't been accepted yet, it's because your name is probably different on Telegram than it is on Patriot Shoot. So I'm sure me or one of the wonderful mods have reached out to you in your messages or DMs. I don't know what it's called, but just check that out. We've probably sent you a message like, what is your last name? It's different on Telegram. Just whatever. Trying to get you in there, but don't come in there acting cray-cray. Thanks so much. Have a good evening, and bye.